star of the show, Jordan Rogozinski.
Hello folks, and welcome back to the Jordan 411 Sports Show. And today I've been planning this one for about a year because our guests today are from Special Manitoba, and we have Ryan Kneisz, who competed as an athlete in triathlon. And we also have Adam Lloyd, who competed in floor hockey and basketball. And we also have Coach Joanne Zahaiko. We're very honored to have the CEO of Special Olympics, Campbell. And I'll start with you, Jen. What is Special Olympics?
Wow. Well, Special Olympics is a sport organization for people who have an intellectual disability. So we do 18 sports. We do summer sports, winter sports, some of which these guys do, and some that Joanne coach. So that's basically what we are, is a sport organization.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask Joanne to speak. What's the difference between the Olympics and Special Olympics?
There's only one really big difference, and that is that Special Olympics has athletes with an intellectual disability. We have athletes that are incredibly talented, but one thing that Special O does is that we division our athletes to compete based on their ability. Whereas the Olympic Games, they don't do that. There's only one gold medal winner in each event, but in Special Olympics, you might have 3 or 4 because it's grouped by ability level.
Okay, now we'll go to Adam. And it's your first time being back in your own high school. Since 2008, has a lot of things changed?
A lot of things have changed, especially this library has changed, the gym has changed, where I spend most of my time at.
Yeah.
And yeah.
How long does it take you to prepare to get ready for the national games?
It takes, every 4 years it takes us to get ready for national games. It takes, first is our regionals, which happens in Winnipeg, and then you'd be recognized as Team Manitoba. You go to wherever the national games is. So this year is in Anchorage, Nova Scotia for basketball. So from there, we go to Abu Dhabi to qualify for that.
Are you excited to go to
yes.
Abu Dhabi?
If I get a chance to go to Abu Dhabi, it'll be my second World Games.
Yeah, we're hoping he goes. It's not confirmed yet. And now let's go to Ryan. Now you do triathlon. Explain what that is.
Well, actually, it's the pentathlon. And
Pentathlon.
Yeah, I'll explain what that is. It's a combined event. So the events consists of the 100 meters, the 400. High jump, long jump, and shot put, and it's based on points. So you get points per event, and then just like anything else, whoever has the most points, and so on and so on. That's how it's scored.
How do you condition yourself to run like 100 meters?
It's a lot of speed training for the most part. Like the hard part about the pentathlon is you gotta have that ability to run the 100 meter, and then you have to have that ability to run the 400, and then the field events in between. So it's a little difficult to train for, but I still really enjoyed it when I was doing it.
And you sent me a video via Twitter. You triathlon, and somebody was cheering in your background. Who was that? And it looked like you went a pretty far distance.
That jump, I believe it was just under 5 meters, and actually I don't know who filmed that. When I got back from LA, I had a bunch of different people sending it to me, so I don't know who actually filmed it.
Okay, now we'll go back to Adam now. For all our hockey goers out there, you play floor hockey in the Special Olympics.
Yes,
Is there much difference between hockey and...
There is lots of difference. People think of hockey with blades and pucks. Well, we have sticks like ringette. So if you guys ever watch ringette hockey, that's what we play. We don't use the blades because it can hurt athletes. You can get a stick in the eye or in the throat. It's no fun. But with the ringette sticks, it eliminates the injury by a long shot. And there's no hitting. Like, you can't go full out and then rock somebody like back in the 90s watching hockey. You can't be like Scott Stevens and hit people. It is like soccer. The contact it's there, but not to a point where you're actually trying to hurt the other person. So. Okay,
that's pretty interesting. And how long did it take you to learn to get it in the ring?
Not very long. It took me about a minute to figure out how it works.
I guess because you're very athletic.
I'm very athletic. I've been doing sports all my life. I still haven't stopped. People are like, oh, what do you do outside of work? I still play sports. I go to my kids' soccer practice and I go run around with them. They come to my practices and they come run around with me. It's what I love, and I'm never gonna stop.
Okay, that's good. Now we'll go to Miss Joanne Zahaiko now. Now I heard you got involved at Special at a very young age. It was actually in grade 9, and your sister actually started volunteering. What drove you to kind of start volunteering?
Exactly what you said. My sister, who's a year older than me, was in a leadership program in our junior high school, and she joined Special Olympics to do some leadership experience. And when it came my year, the next year, grade 9, I joined. And that was, I don't know, what are you, about 13, almost 13 years old in grade 9. And then by the time I was 17, I was head coach of the program, and that would not happen now, I know. But yeah, and I've been ever since. So, coaching.
When do you become a coach now? When are you allowed to coach?
Well, I don't think there isn't really a minimum age, but it's the responsibility level that you have to be 18 to be responsible for the athletes. So you can certainly volunteer and be part of a team, but to be actually taking on those athlete responsibilities, you'd be 18. But anybody can start at any age volunteering.
Now we'll ask the athletes, how was she as a coach?
Oh, dear. Are you sure you want to ask them?
Yeah, I want to ask them.
All right, I'll go first because Joanne is my basketball coach. Not only was she a coach, she was also a second mom to me. Joanne has been a big part of my life, and she has also changed my life in many great ways. So not only do coaches have the responsibility of athletes, but they also build a friendship, a family atmosphere with everybody. And I have also grown as a better person because of Joanne.
Well, and I mean, the one thing that got me to LA was Joanne, in a sense, because she took over the head coaching job of the Team Manitoba track team when we were going to nationals, and she really helped me with the high jump part of the pentathlon, like just making sure like the run-ups was clean, the takeoff was right. So I mean, part of getting to LA, hands down, I have to give it, Joanne was responsible for that in a very important way.
Now we'll go back to Jen. What does it mean to have a coach like Joanne here who inspires their athletes, like these young men here? Like, how does that make the organization feel?
Oh, that's a great question. Really, Special Olympics, we couldn't do what we do without volunteer coaches like Joanne. We have so many dedicated coaches who give so much of their time. You know, they have families, they have jobs, and the amount of time that they give and provide opportunities for athletes like Adam and Ryan. Again, we couldn't do it without them. And so someone like Joanne, who has really kind of given her whole life to Special Olympics. And she's had wonderful opportunities and touched many athletes' lives, not just in Manitoba, but across the country as well. So we're very fortunate to have coaches like Joanne.
Now we'll go back to her. How does it feel when you have that trust in this organization and your athletes trust, knowing that you're such a good coach? I know I'm digging deep here. I don't usually dig this deep.
Not one of the questions we practiced. You know what, Jordan, sometimes when you're so immersed in what you're doing, when you're coaching, or you don't necessarily know the impact that you're having. I didn't know that's the way that Adam and Ryan felt about me as a coach. Hearing that, I'm getting a little emotional because we have a great relationship. One thing they didn't mention is that I was also their teacher here at school for many years too. So we certainly do go way back, but every now and then you hear that, and you hear that you make such an impact not only on the athlete's life, but on their entire family's life. And it kind of is a little humbling. You stop and you think to yourself, holy smokes, like you didn't know what you were doing was going to be that important. And I think it is very humbling.
Now we'll go back to the athletes. What does it mean to you to travel across the world to represent your country?
I'll ask you because you've done that more than once.
Well, I've represented Canada twice, and the first time I got to represent Canada, I really didn't, I couldn't really describe the feeling because, you don't think it's real. You think it's kind of like a fantasy. And then when I got to represent the second time, I looked at it and I go, I get to represent my country along with a great team of athletes, and I get to wear the maple leaf on my chest, and it was a great honor to go to World Games and be able to bring back a medal as part of Team Canada.
How is it standing on that podium, considering all you've been through in your life? Like, Adam, this is coming to you after I'm so think. How does it mean to you to have a medal, and considering all you've been through in your life, to finally be up there?
It's a very emotional moment just because of the fact that training for LA, and just because when I got back from Greece, which is where the first World Games were that I went to, I said to myself, I want to go back, I want to win a gold, and just to have that satisfaction of saying that, I was, because when I went to Worlds the first time, I got bronze, so it was kind of like...
Which is still pretty good.
Oh, yeah. So it was one of those things where I set a goal in my mind saying that I wanted to go to World Games, I wanted to get that gold medal, and I was able to accomplish that even though a lot of the barriers I had to jump over with training, because I actually had a pretty severe injury towards World Games, but we were able to get that fixed, and then from there it was just smooth sail.
Okay.
Heat
No.
in Los Angeles.
Oh,
Heat.
Yeah. No, the same question.
Oh, same question. Okay. Stay on the podium. Oh, it was a pretty good experience, Just kidding. No, it was actually really cool, like you're standing there with all your teammates, that knowing the fact that you have been selected by another province to represent your country. I've been selected with 3 other athletes that were along with me, and that came along to the ride. So for me being asked by Saskatchewan, I know, hey, green and white, who would have thought? But no,
Buckeye color though. So
it is, but it was really cool. Just knowing the fact that you're there representing your country, playing a sport that is based on Canada, is hockey. So being asked to be part of that is one of a heck of an experience, and I would never change that for anything in the world.
Now we'll go back to Jen. What does it mean for you and your other partners in this to see these athletes up there with a medal, and having you played in a role, maybe getting them involved in special?
Well, again, another really good question. I feel I have like the best job because I love sports, but I get to work with athletes and coaches like you have here every day. And I know that what we're doing does make a difference, right? What Adam and Ryan have talked about, and made a difference for Joanne in her life. Sport is a great vehicle, right? We all love to play sports. Everyone loves sports, and everybody gets stuff out of sport.
Even I do. I play fudge hockey.
No, exactly, right? And so, like, playing sport, we all get something out of playing sport, right? We learn new things, we push ourselves, we do things we never thought we would ever do. And for these guys, I've been fortunate, too, to represent Canada, and I was with Ryan in Greece. And for me, when I see athletes representing their country or representing their province or just even representing their club, they're doing something that maybe they never thought they were going to ever do. So kind of being a part of that and seeing their families excited to see them out competing, representing Canada is pretty awesome. So again, I got a great job.
Now this is for all you. In your mind, when you decided to say, I'm gonna do special, what was the first thought in your head? Was it, oh, I can't, or what was it?
Who wants to go?
Well, I'll start then from a coaching perspective. So I was really young when I started, so I didn't really have those kinds of thoughts though, Jordan. It was just something I was doing. But what started happening is I started getting more and more interested, getting more and more training, taking courses, and was asked to put my name in to go to national games, something I never thought possible. And I did, and my name, I was an assistant coach at nationals, and then I thought, why don't I apply to go to World Games? And I did, and I was accepted on the team, and then it was just never looked back. And this is, like Jennifer said, this has changed my life. It's changed who I am as a person, it's helped direct my career, and it's just something that I'll always continue doing.
Down the line.
I started off as a track coach at junior high. A lot of people didn't know that. I started off at junior high at Cheap Peg with junior high. And I also worked with a guy named Zahaiko. And he, again, was like a father to me. He also helped me out on a lot of things by understanding athletes as a better person. So I started off as a track, and then accepting that I have an intellectual disability. A lot of people have a hard time understanding, accepting stuff that you have that other people don't have. And for me, accepting that I have an intellectual disability, it made me stronger. It made me realize, hey, even though I might learn things a different way, it's not going to stop me from playing basketball. People are like, oh, I'm going to be the next Michael Jordan. I never thought I was going to be the next Michael Jordan. I'll tell you that right now. I thought about being the next Dennis Rodman. If you guys do not know who Dennis Rodman is, Dennis, for me, that's who I looked up to, was watching Dennis Rodman play the game. 35 rebounds. Who in the heck does that nowadays? Everybody wants to be dunking on people and doing that. No, I always want to be the guy who's in the paint, pushing out, getting those rebounds, getting those boards. I always wanted to play the tough guy.
Well, and to take from what Adam said, I mean, I started Special O at a very young age. Like, I think I was 7 when I started with a club called the EK Rascals, and it was just that accepting that I had a intellectual disability. And I mean, as I got older, I think I found that, you know, the more you accept it, the easier it is down the road. I mean, yeah, and I mean, having a disability isn't. I think it's one of the greatest things that could have ever happened to me, because I mean, in a way, everyone learns at different paces. So I mean, I just learn at a slower rate than most people. And I mean, Special is giving me that drive to be a better person, be a better athlete, and just giving me that the goal that, you know, I could go to World Games, I could win a bronze and a gold medal at the world stage and multiple medals at the national stage.
I like to thank Ryan Kneisz great interview, Ryan. I'm glad it finally happened.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Adam Lloyd. Thank you for coming. Thank Joanne for taking time out of your busy day. And thank Jennifer for taking your time to share your thoughts. Thank you.
Judge Bogle.
Please like and subscribe to Jordan's YouTube channel and follow him on Twitter.